Know what you know. We are ordinary people with extraordinary stories. I'm not your extraordinary story or extraordinary or I'm not your ordinary person today. I'm not the one with the extraordinary story. I had to do a recap on a person that I've known since I was 12 years old. My homegirl Benika is her mom, and she was pushing to get her mom on the show. And so I had to do a recap of that. So, what we got going on is this. Uh, we are in the process of moving, splitting the Vibe Studios. So, we still will have the Vibe Studios at one location, but I'm moving to a new location at to Healthy in Space. And when we move there, man, it's gonna go bananas. We got so many show ideas. The Vibe Studios is gonna be moving, and you're just gonna have to be on the lookout for it, man. We have a lot of things in the works, and the move was necessary in order for us to get these things done. We could have multiple studios in this new location, so I'm in the process of moving. So I'm doing the show. I'm doing recap shows. Until then, I also am doing a slight rebranding after talking to some good friends. VNO is still going to be a thing. VNO Productions, in accordance in relations with the Vibe Studios, is probably going to be more of a thing than just the VNO podcast. We got a lot more shows that we looking to come out with, just from listening to people and listening to good friends and whatnot. I want to highlight myself a little bit more in some of these shows, and also bring some new people in. Uh, I want to give a shout out to Big Chopper. I was supposed to have Big Chopper on the show today, and me, I was, man. She got a heck of a story, man, and I was gonna try to make it happen, but I know that like I didn't finish the move from one studio to the next, and I called her and I told her I don't want to do you a disservice, and I don't want to do this platform a disservice by just half doing the show just to say we did it. So as soon as the Vibe Studios finishes the move within the next week or so, I'm gonna have my homie Big Chopper on the show, and she got a story to tell. She has a story to tell. She gave me a little bit of it, a little rundown, a synopsis of her story, and I was like, yeah, you got to come on. So that show's being delayed, and until then, I'm gonna be running these little recaps, man, of these shows that I've done already that some of you might not have seen. This was my least expected favorite show with somebody. If I to be totally honest, I wasn't looking forward to this show, and I wasn't looking forward to it because Dr. Henderson seemed a little apprehensive about doing it. She seemed like, I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. But man, I've learned that every time somebody says that, that is gonna be it's gonna be a good one. Man, she's got a story. I thought she was there just to highlight her book, but I tell y'all, I was in tears. Literally, I cried, and I don't care about crying. That's just me. I really don't. It's a human thing. Uh, just from her story, she just it's it's horrible, horribly good. Story was horribly good. Uh, while I'm before I take you there, I want to give a shout out to Bold Lion brand. I am a brand ambassador for Bold Lion, and I'm a brand ambassador because they have some dope clothes, and he has more coming at you during the show. I'm going to drop the link, and if you follow that link, it's going to take you to Captivate Clothing. And Bold Lion is a subsidiary of Captivate right now. So if you go through that Captivate website and then you click on Bold Lion, if you find something using that link that you like off of Captivate or the Bold Lion website, by using that link, you'll get 10% off, and I'll get credit too for you going there. So yeah, man, my homie over at Bold Lion, I had him on the show about 2 weeks ago, and man, most of the time you'll see me in some Bold Lion something just because the clothes are dope, uh, and the ideas that he told me that he has or that he's bringing out is it's amazing, and I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm happy to be a part of this growing clothing brand. But yeah, man, this show that I got coming, just hold on to your seats, man. She is an amazing person. I was not ready. I did not know after knowing her for 30 years that this was her story. Uh, if you hear me talk about forgiveness, if you hear me talk about tolerating people and looking at yourself first and all of that stuff, man. A lot of that stuff, man, has come from these amazing guests that I've had on the show, and she was one of them that I've just grown from listening to their stories and just looking at myself when I hear these stories. Like, man, I ain't ready yet. I am not there yet. After sitting beside some of these people, these amazing people that I've sat beside. If you are looking to start a podcast, Do it. Do it, do it, do it. I've grown so much since starting this podcast. My life has taken turns that I never would have thought that it would have taken. Just man, I can't even describe it. It's great. Also, if you're looking to start a podcast, look no further than the Vibe Studios in conjunction with V&O Productions. If you come to us with an idea, we'll make it happen. Of course, it costs a little bit, but but we could talk about that. You know what I mean? And I'm just eager to teach too. So if you just wanna see like what we got going on, man, anybody's more than welcome, especially when we get the new studio, more than welcome to come in the studio and just watch to see what's going on behind the scenes. Uh, Man, shout out to Vibe Studios, Life Coach Jeff, uh, uh, Mary Selena K. She doing her thing. Smooch Wallace doing his thing. Uh, Me, I'm doing my thing. Doing my thing. We all in our own lanes and we all doing it big time. Without further ado, man, check out this. You're gonna go through the whole show, so it's gonna be my old intro and everything, but still, you gotta check it out. Check it out. Hang in there. Hang in there. It's fast forwarded if you don't want to see all the advertisements and stuff. About 3 minutes in, I believe, is when the show starts. So check it out. Yeah.
Yes, we learn it.
But have you ever thought, what if this is all just a dream? And we're just waiting in line to wake up? And most people think I'm insane. Once you realize that all the shit you used to care so much about just keeps you a prisoner of your own mind.
V&O, what you know? We back, man. How y'all doing, man? We went impromptu. I have a special guest today. This will be my the show for the week, and I'm so happy to have a person that I've known for 20, is it 20 years? 20, 30 years. Am I really that old? That I've known since I was about 12, 13 years old.
Yes.
A phenomenal person, the mother of my sister's best friend growing up, but still, we are ordinary people with extraordinary stories. She has an extraordinary story. She has so many accomplishments. I'll always have to get my stuff out of the way, my advertisements. So let me go ahead and do it like this. Shout out, man, to Heritage Real Estate. Thank you, Heritage Real Estate. Hey, yo, if you're looking for a home and not just a house, contact Miss Benika Henderson at 219-613-3968. Man, she will get you right. Shout out to Heritage Real Estate for the space that we're in right now. Thank you to Heritage for giving us this space to do this production. Uh, and shout out to my guys, man, over there at Shop Talk, man. They will be on tonight. They are on 5 days a week. They broadcast on My Radio Chicago, Support District Radio. Hey, download the app, SDR, and you can tune into tons of phenomenal people. Marley Caprice, that was here, 3 weeks ago? She's on SDR. My Radio Chicago is also not just My Radio Chicago no more. It's also My Radio Houston. Shout out to My Radio Houston, to Mr. Shot Blizzy, man. They are kicking off My Radio Houston right now as we speak. in the Houston area. They took a bunch of talent down there with them, and they are doing it big. So y'all check them out now, man, before they blow up. Show up before they blow up. Yeah, man. So that's my stuff that I had to get out of the way. My I gotta give love, man. Gotta give love. Man, I'm so happy to have you, Banika. Banika, this is, man, what a diverse show that the VNO is. I know that's kind of self-serving, but last week I had on my guy Vicious, which is Vicious has been a rapper. He's an owner of a club, and I just still see it doesn't matter who you are. It's these special qualities that people have I connect with, and then these people that I connect with, I always got to bring them on and show love to them, and we want to hear their stories. We're ordinary people with extraordinary stories. Speaking of extraordinary stories, where does yours start?
Well, my extraordinary story starts with just born and raised in Gary, Indiana.
Okay.
I'm proud to be a native of Gary, Indiana, and presently I'm living in Schererville, Indiana.
Okay.
But just to be a part of I would say the foundation, my foundation coming from Gary and attending Gary Public Schools,
Okay.
which was the #1 school corporation in the United States of
Yeah,
America at
there
one
you go.
time, and I actually taught there.
Really? Okay.
So I'm proud of that.
What school did you are you from the Bell? Because we got a lot of GI
Oh,
people
yes.
too.
Yes,
She's a Roosevelt native,
yes.
y'all. You know they didn't let people tear. They didn't
Yes.
let nobody tear down Roosevelt for the longest.
No, the
Yeah.
belt don't melt.
Yeah, right,
That's
right,
our famous saying.
right. They didn't want to let Fravel go, and then
Nope.
they got Roosevelt. Man, them folks that went to Velt, they was like, no, you can't tear it down. They fought it.
No.
They fought
Thank
it.
God. I'm glad
Yeah.
they did,
Yeah.
because we have to still do something. So many of us from Gary Roosevelt. In fact, my class of 74, we will be celebrating 50 years.
Are you
next
serious?
Year.
Wow.
Yes, and I'm working with
Wow.
actually Ernestine.
Okay.
McKinley is heading us up this year.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to having a fantastic time.
Okay.
Next year.
Okay. Nice. Nice. So you went from Roosevelt to well, of course you attended college, Dr. Dr. Darlene. Where did you?
I have a lot of history with that. Well, I started off with a band scholarship at Mississippi Valley State University.
Okay.
I went there for 1 year, and I got sick and returned back home. But God is just a good God. He continues to work in your life and the different journeys that he takes us on. And so then I ended up attending actually Control Data in Chicago. This is where I got my computer background from, as a computer operator at Sargent and Lundy Engineers. So I ended up attending there, and I returned back to school because my mother, Dolly Adamson, was an educator, a teacher. And so she told my sister and I that we needed to be teachers too. And my sister Miriam Tango went on to be an administrator. But so I ended up going back to school, and I actually went to Calumet College there and got a degree in management.
Wow.
A bachelor's of science in management. And then I went to Cambridge College, where I got a master's in education. G. Moore Theological Institute. I actually got my doctorate in theology.
Wow. Wow. And how did how long did that take you? I know you said you got sick and you came home, but what do you think your educational journey, how many years do you have in your educational journey yourself?
How many years in my educational journey? I would say so. I started off at 18 going to Mississippi Valley State University, and there were spaces and times in there when life. I wasn't. Thank you. Life happened. Because marriage happened. Children. I have 4 beautiful children, grown children and grandchildren. Now I'm so proud of all of them, and they're doing very well. So I would say my educational span, and still, you know what? I'm still, it seems like a school is forever for me. I said, Lord, am I going to be in school forever, a professional student forever? Even in my church, I attend Advancing Christ Kingdom Global Ministries. And so the first lady there, Prophetess Sherry Randolph, had a school of the prophets. So I went to school there, and very, very had a wonderful time there learning about the prophetic realm because I really love that.
Okay.
So, in fact, she said, Dr. Henderson, I want to teach you. And so I started laughing because I said, I guess education just never ends for me.
Yeah.
My mother spoke into my life about getting a doctorate.
Yeah.
She said, Darling, I believe you'll get your doctorate one day.
Yeah.
And I thought that was far fetched.
Yeah.
But God started opening doors and paving that way for that to happen. So I would say I'm still in school. In fact,
Yeah.
with God, He says, learn of me.
Yeah.
So you're forever learning with God.
Ever learning.
He wants
Yeah.
us to be humble like little
Yeah.
children
Yeah.
and, stay humble and stay teachable.
And so what I was going to say to you as you were talking, what I hear is like I'm an iron worker in Chicago, and I have guys that work under me. I'm the boss.
Mhm. Oh,
I have
okay.
a boss, but I'm the boss where I'm at
Okay.
my job site. But for people to be teachable is something special for you, because there's a humility that goes into that for you to still be able to learn, because people get to a certain age. There's some folks is 45 and they ain't letting nobody teach them. They don't care who it is. I've been on this earth for
Yeah.
this such and such a time. So there is a humility in it, and you deserve honor for being teachable, for being,
Teachable.
and the higher in age you go. And I'm not saying you don't look old. You just been on the earth for a
I'm getting
while.
there. I'm getting
Yeah,
there.
you've been on the earth for a while, and to still have a teachable spirit and still wanting to learn.
Yes.
It's kudos to you.
So
Kudos to
so
you.
much
Yeah.
to learn. And it's just I love learning.
Yeah.
So in fact, when I'm the founder of Higher Institute of Arts and Technology, and I'm teaching there in the technology center there, and I'm learning even in there, developing just what's going to happen, what's bringing in. We hope to bring in some technology people. I think the principal is Jessica Ackland, and
Okay.
she's going to have a technology fair in February, I think she said. So looking forward to that and just learning even more about technology, which is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
When we're sleeping, technology is changing.
Yeah.
You
Oh
wake up the
gosh.
next morning, your
Oh.
phone has a new update,
Oh.
new software, and things are going on. So technology is the catalyst in which this world is evolving.
Yeah.
So, I tell people that some people, I think my age and maybe older, they're kind of afraid of it.
Hmm.
So I said, get on board or you'll be left behind.
You just got me with that. I want to say three things that I want to say. First of all, we about to talk about Hyatt, because that's why I love this show. You said you're going impromptu. I say, yeah, I'm going impromptu because you feed me what you want to talk
Oh,
about.
okay.
You brought up Hyatt, and I really want to talk about Hyatt because you founded a school.
Yes.
She founded a school, an educational institute. Founded.
Oh,
Found
with some workers, that
with yeah,
beautiful boy people that
yeah,
helped us to
yeah.
find to be the founders of the first charter school in Maryville, Indiana. So I'm
Wow.
excited about it. The board president there is Charlotte Johnson, doing an
Okay.
excellent
Okay.
job at this time. I stated the principal is Jessica Ackland, and you know what? It's just a joy to see what God can do if you have faith and if you operate in faith. I didn't know anything about opening a charter school.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
each day was a day of faith,
Mhm.
of asking the Lord what I needed.
Yeah.
And then the Lord opening the doors spontaneously
Yeah.
as I'm on my way.
You did your Noah. I mean, like you did your Noah thing,
I did
because
my
it's like you
Noah.
had never done that before. First, I want to say, man, did y'all hear what she just said? You ain't never too old. I just shared with her. I said, if I share this link to Facebook with you, I said, could you put it on your face? She said, yeah. She looked like, yeah. What you think? Yeah, I can do it. But you know how many people I talk to that's my age that I'm
Okay.
like, hey, if I share this link to Facebook with you, they like, nah, I can't do that. Don't even share it with me. So shout out to you for even being able to do that. That's number two. I forgot the third thing, but let's talk more about Hyatt. You started a school, and I was able to actually kind of somewhat peek in on the journey, because my mom was
Yes, your
she played
mom.
a small role
Well,
in it.
not a
Yeah,
small role.
yeah,
Your mother, Deborah, was a powerful role.
yeah,
I was so thankful for, and your dad, both,
yeah,
Deborah and Claude,
yeah.
just being there. I mean, it took 7 years for the school to open.
Yeah.
So
Wow,
just
are
for
you
us to stay on
serious?
board that long
Wow.
and wait,
Yeah.
because it was such a wait. And we had our high moments, our low moments.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I thank God for just having people that stayed on the journey with me because they
Yeah.
didn't have to.
Yeah.
You know, it started off with just a thought, an idea. In fact, Charlotte and I, we were driving in a car going by a building, and we was just saying it'd be nice to open a school one day. And so I was telling, actually beginning at Mrs. Jean Preston,
Okay.
Mom Preston living room, and we were sitting in her living room, and we started praying, and she was telling me about how to get started, the why, when, what, where, and all of that for a public meeting.
Yeah.
And she was helping me with that, and we prayed at her house every Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
We had interfaith prayer power pool.
Yeah.
So the foundation of this school is prayer,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I thank God for that because, when you have prayer as the foundation, that's a sure foundation
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it will last, it will stay.
Yeah.
God will make sure that it's established as well.
Yeah.
But I thank God because I had my sister, Miriam Tangle, she had a part in Milwaukee when we were traveling, trying to see the different schools, because the school is of arts. Our specialty is arts and technology. So arts, it's through the arts that students actually develop their learning styles.
Okay.
And technology, because really my grandsons inspired me. They're 17 years old now,
Wow.
and they were so gifted in technology.
Yeah.
4 year, they were just 4, I think it was 3 or 4 when I first got started on the journey. And so I would watch them, and they knew how to operate all the gadgets. And I bought a big Apple, and they could get on there and do all types of things. And I was like, wow, they have technological minds.
Yeah.
I found out they're born this way. This is why little babies have iPads, and they cry if the parents take them away from them.
Right.
But their mind, in fact, in the technology center at Higher today, they actually work better on their Chromebooks than they do actually writing. Like we went to school learning how to write on pencil with our pencils and paper, where they're typing.
Yeah.
And this is what, and everybody has technological gadgets. The children have iPhones. The babies have iPads. So the whole world is just on this page of technology. I'm excited about it, though. I love it.
I remembered the third thing I was gonna say. Like, how many waves of technology have you been through? Like, we went from. Let's just talk. I mean, if you just talk about music, you want to talk about. Was it 8-tracks, records,
I'm telling
CDs? Like, whenever you looked around, and then it got to a point where it was like, I just remember in my childhood, it was like, we had. I grew up I came in with I forgot tapes, so I came in with tapes. It was years and years and years. Then we got CDs. Then it was years and years and years, and then things moved to digital to where everything was on the computer now. Everything you load. But I mean, now technology moves. It's like 1 or 2 years, boom, we got something new.
Brand
year,
new.
We got something new. And it's like, I just learned how to do this. So I just, man, I really thank you for continuing your journey to educate yourself. And even seeing in these young kids, because a lot of people will just look at these young kids like, boy, put that iPad down, or they just give it to them, to entertain them, but they not really thinking about like, man, these kids are really talented in this. Like, you have an educator's eye.
And it's so exciting. In fact, my daughter Jasmine Henderson, she's a graphic designer. She's the best in the West, in the world to me, and she's great with it. But she was telling me how we were getting ready. CDs were getting ready to go out, and I just thought CDs would be around forever.
Yeah, right.
I'm from the age of 8-track.
Yeah. So you started with 8-tracks,
that was back big 8-tracks and then cassettes. And then, migrating to the CDs and today, like you said, digital. And I said, well, what are we going to do, Jazz? I call it Jazz.
Yeah.
I said, because I just couldn't imagine not having the CDs anymore. Right. And now, everything is digital. Like you said, you have your the drives that you have. That
you got your phone.
Your phone, really.
Yeah,
your phone.
Everything is on your phone.
Thank you. Everything is on our phone.
Yeah.
Now, it's a walking computer. Your phone, everybody is walking around with a computer. Bill Gates, when he first talked about a computer in everybody's home, they thought that he was crazy. I actually visited his center.
Really?
And yes. And they was like, what? And so I love computers even before they became popular. I wanted to actually go to school at that time, but it really wasn't popular. But the Lord guided me to control data, which got me into computers. So then when the Lord led me back to teach in the schools, and Gloria Smith said, we were at Kennedy King School, and she used to see me with my laptop, and she said, "What is that Darlene's carrying around in that black bag?" You know, because I always was loving computers, laptops. I operated the big mainframes that Sargent and Lundy engineers. They designed the nuclear plants, and so I was working there for about 7 years.
Where was that at?
Chicago, the Mid-Continental Plaza
Okay,
building across from the Palmer House in Chicago. I worked there for 7 years. So having 4 children, Darnisha, her husband is Ty Terrence, Benika,
who Heritage
so proud
Real Estate.
Of Heritage Real Estate. So proud of Benika.
Yeah.
She's doing great things. And then my son Jamar Booker T. Henderson, doing well in Arlington, Virginia.
Okay.
He has his own business, and he does a lot of HR work and this counseling. He's doing quite a few things. And Jasmine, my last one, my graphic designer, you know, so with Mael, the company that
she's with Mael.
Mael.
Oh, she done blew up.
Yes,
she with a great company.
A great company.
I just went to Atlanta 2 weeks ago, and it was at a music festival. And so lo and behold, now this is Atlanta. This is Black LA.
Black LA.
That's what Atlanta is
really?
now. Yeah, that's what Atlanta is now.
Think,
Atlanta is popping. And so Black all of these music stars are here. So lo and behold, they handed out bags to women with hair care products. It's a Mael bag. I'm like, Mael just when she was in Cherville, she just started right around the corner.
I'm telling you how I saw a little. Jasmine was working in Chicago. She needed to be closer to home, so I saw a little like a job opportunity. I think with Mael, I said, Jas, you need to apply for this. And who would have thought that Mael would blow up? And Jasmine is so humble that, you know, a lot of her billboards would be as we're driving down 94 going to Chicago, she would say, that's my billboard there. You know, it was like, what?
She's designing the billboard?
Oh, yeah, she designs them at New York Times Center. She had one there. And just so proud of her work. Is when she does anything, it makes people take a second look and say, wow. She's but I put her in front of a computer at the age of 4 or 5. And she loved it. That was her gift. I didn't know that her gift would be that great. And when she got to be in the 5th grade, I think it was Corral paint they had at that time.
Okay.
And she said, look, Mommy, look what I did. And she drew the Girl Scout, the little Girl Scout in her uniform with a cookie sheet and all the other little things in the background. And she drew the Girl Scout so intricate. It was like with the, you know, the emblems and all of that, the cookie sheet. And I couldn't believe that she did it. She said, I said, well, erase that and start all over again. So I saw that she had a gift. And she's really developed that gift. So I'm just so excited. And my Darnisha does a lot of graphic I think graphic work is what she helped me with my book. We'll talk about that later. She helped me with that book. But, you know, just to have gifted children, I'm just so proud of them all in their different capacities, the different things that they're doing.
Yeah, you have created some amazing human beings.
When my husband, Booker T. Henderson, he gets some credit there.
Yeah, right, yeah. Shout out to Mr. Henderson. Right? You didn't do it by yourself, man.
I didn't do it by myself. And I want to throw some names out there that they might be watching, too. For Hyatt too, because Carol King, my girlfriend we were friends since kindergarten. She might be watching, and she was always with me, and we've always been together. And she stayed in there with Hyatt, and just to go back and walk through to see it still standing there and thriving. She said, Darlene, she said, Hyatt is still a baby, you know, 7 years going on 8 years being open. And I said, you're right. She said, schools that's been open 50-some years or more, and they're going through a lot of challenges and different things. And I said, you're right, you know, so it made me kind of laugh because, you know, when you're a visionary, you see everything, the finished product, you know, and so that's how I see it. You know, it was just birth. You know, through me, God gave me the vision to see it. So I'm in my mind, I want to see it, that finished product. But it takes time. Just like you think about all the businesses, KFC and all of them, they started off with a dream. And just like you starting off with your business. And then you start perfecting it, or you want to see it perfected. You want to see it get to that finished product, no matter what. You know?
How did you? When I did this, it's times that I wanted to quit. For a time, I did take a
Oh.
little break. Were there times that you wanted to quit
Oh,
in that journey?
oh yeah. In fact, the dream died. It did die.
Yeah, yeah,
The dream
yeah,
did die
yeah.
because it took so long. In fact, we got our first charter from Ball State
Okay.
University, Ball
Shout out to
State.
Ball State. Yeah, yeah.
And but we weren't able to open,
Really?
so for some reason it
Yeah,
just wasn't able to
yeah.
open. So then it took 7 years. So of course, when they didn't open, the Lord would send people in your life
Hmm.
to help keep the dream alive.
Hmm.
So this is Dr. Jill Carm actually found me on LinkedIn. I don't,
Okay.
this was like as the school was dormant, wasn't too much going on.
Yeah.
We have been turned down. We went to Indiana Charter School Board. We turned down about 3 or 4 times, I believe. And they was like, darling, we just want the school to be successful. We want it to open. And, in fact, Dr. Jill Khan said, we'll be back here as many times as it takes. And I was like, as many times? Lord, I just want
Right. That's
one
all
time.
one.
And so
I'm
the
tired.
second year, the third year, and I'm so proud of my board to stay.
Hmm.
Linda Romo, my mother was on the advisory board, Dolly Addison. Maurice Preston Sr. was a advisory board. They didn't even live
I
to
know
see,
Maurice Preston. I gotta get.
his sons.
I know it's. Oh, you senior. Okay.
Senior was with me and
Okay.
that taught me about marketing. And
Okay.
so he said, Darlene, that school will open when God says so.
Yeah.
And he was right, but he and my mother passed the year that the school opened.
Are you serious?
But I
Wow.
want to tell you how God kept the school open, even
Mhm.
with her. She said that somebody sent her an article about the school, and she said, you might be interested in this. So she lived about 5 minutes away from me in Cherville.
Mhm.
So she was a lawyer. She had finished law school.
Mhm.
And so she was with higher learning. She was over colleges.
Yeah.
So she was able to teach me so much. Oh,
Wow.
you're talking about being in school. She said, here,
Wow.
darling, you need to learn this. You need to do this. You need to do this. You're going to
Wow.
need this. You're going to need that. And I mean, I learned and she would tell me, you did pretty good there, Darlene.
Yeah.
And so I was just thankful for the learning that took place. I learned, in fact, Erica Coleman, which is good
Yeah.
friends
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Brandy.
Yeah.
She was sent. She was an angel that was sent by Hyatt to Hyatt
Okay.
to help us along the way as a consultant, and she stayed with us until we opened.
Wow.
If it
Yeah.
wasn't, Erica was like an angel. I'm so
Yeah. She
still
is such
thankful
a
to
phenomenal
her,
person.
and
Yeah.
so gifted.
Yeah.
And
Gifted
very gifted
man.
in many
Yeah.
facets, and
Yeah.
she was able to help keep us encouraged and teach us and train us and those down moments too. We had so many down moments.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was in I think about the fourth time maybe that we were going for the charter. Her name was Dr. Mia Jones.
Mhm.
I was at a prayer breakfast, and so they were saying, "How many of you all have dreams and things that you would like to do?" So I said, "Well, I dreamed that I would open a charter school one day." And so I was kind of real low at that time.
Mhm.
So she said, I'll help you. So,
Mhm.
so I had to laugh about that because the way that she came into my life is actually through Marcia. And Marcia is the wife of Calvin White, who was also on the board with us a long
Okay.
time on that journey. And so she actually told Dr. Mia Jones about us. And then
Okay.
she kind of, I think, was knowing that we would need her. But she had the capacity in writing grants to actually make our charter come alive. So we actually wrote the charter, but to actually make it an action,
Yeah.
as they say,
Yeah.
because we were
Yeah.
writing it on
You wrote the
paper.
rough draft of like like writing a book. You wrote the yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
needed an editor. You needed
they
somebody.
ready to make put it on TV,
Yeah. Right.
and so she had that gift to be able to do that.
Wow.
And so sure enough, when she came on and did her part, we got the charter.
You know,
7 years later.
you know when something's a God thing. First of all, you get seven. That's a
7.
yeah. That's the number. But you know it's a
Uh-huh.
God thing when like these people are finding you. You know it's meant to be
Yes,
when
I
like
know that's right.
this started as a prayer in the car. You said I think you said y'all was praying in the car. You
Just
yeah
riding around.
yeah
We were just
riding
riding the
around
car
praying.
and looking at a building, and we said, one
Yeah.
day we'll open up a school. And then I was in my bed. Let me tell you about Dr. Mia Jones,
Hmm.
because you had to have a letter of interest.
Hmm.
And I was so down and out and discouraged. She
Hmm.
said, do you want me to do the letter of interest for you? I was like, yes, because I just wasn't feeling up to it.
Right.
Like, I don't think it's going to ever open.
Yeah, yeah,
Is it going to ever open?
yeah.
But everything has a time and a season.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible said
Mm-hmm.
there's a purpose.
And it builds strength and it builds courage and it builds it's all so many things that you probably got out of that in that
Mm-hmm.
7 year journey.
Character.
Character, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Patience
Oh
that I
God.
wasn't good with.
Oh God.
Today,
God.
I'm better.
I
Patience
don't.
possess ye your soul. That's in the Bible. I said, Darlene, patience possess ye my soul. Because I want things, even if I'm in a test and a trial, I'm like, I want that over yesterday,
Yeah.
Lord.
Oh yeah.
Not
Oh
today,
yeah. Oh
yesterday.
yeah. Because who want to sit in the fire?
Nobody.
Nobody want to sit in the fire. I don't even know if I ask God. I don't ask God for patience anymore. I just
No,
I
you
want
better
it.
not.
I
That's
want
test and
it. But
trials.
man, but I just know when to ask him. But I remember asking God for patience, and boy, I asked God for wisdom, and I said the world got lonely. I started
The
getting
world
lonely.
got lonely,
It got
huh?
lonely because you
Okay.
started realizing, like, wait a minute. But
The
but
world got
yeah, it
lonely.
got
That's cute.
lonely.
That's cute.
But how did you
Wisdom.
feel from concept the when you stepped into a building that was a prayer? How did you feel? Like, did you cry? Were you
Oh.
overwhelmed with emotion?
Yes, I
Yeah.
truly was. In fact, when I got the keys, and I remember a friend, Pat Bell, she said, "Oh, Darlene," she said, "come on in." She was trying to help me to feel comfortable.
Mm,
I think, Carol, it looks so big.
mm,
We're in this. It used to be St. Mark School. I think I'm saying that right. Catholic. It was a Catholic school, and it's on 57th and Harrison.
mm-hmm.
And it's a whole campus now. God is so good. The Hyatt owns the whole campus. At first, we only were renting the school.
Okay.
But when I went up there in the school, it looked so big. And I was, like you said, full of emotions and kind of like, wow, I can't believe
Mm,
that we're here.
yeah.
Because had so many it was such a fight,
Yeah.
anytime you're trying to do anything for God, there will be great opposition. Not just opposition, but great
Great opposition.
opposition. And
Yeah.
so I knew that God, in fact, I got a prophetic word from Dr. Mildred C. Harris. She's a powerful pioneer, prophetic, mighty, mighty, powerful woman of God. She's CEO for the housing in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And so she spoke into my life 20 years actually before that I would open the school. And I was like, I just took it as a grain of, a grain of salt,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, really? And I did. I was with the Gary Educators for Christ at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And Rita Byron just had me laughing. She said, Darlene, you tried to get us interested in doing this. When God has something, he's birthing in you, you trying to do it. So I did bring computers into the classroom at Kennedy King.
Yeah.
I was able to do that from Chicago.
That's
I
dope.
said, we got to
Yeah.
get the computers in the classroom,
Yeah.
kind of going back.
Wow.
And so, and I knew the kids would want to learn.
And what year is this that you?
This was, I would say, Jasmine was about 4 years old. So this is about early 90s.
Early 90s. You was a
1990s.
pioneer. People didn't want that. We were still using a big fat
Right.
number 2 pencil.
Yeah, they really were on board like that. And
Mm-mm.
so they were bringing the computer labs into the schools a little
Wow.
bit at that time. But I knew that computers would be just a sure, uh, I would say, the tool for the children to want to learn, take learning at another level,
Yeah.
a different capacity,
Yeah.
and put that passion and that, and you think about technology, what would it be without arts,
Yeah.
the arts.
Yeah.
And you just look at how the television,
Mm-hmm.
how that from the dinosaur now to the big screens and
Yeah.
thin as almost what? Yes, your cell
Yeah, as
phone.
this. Yeah, this. My dad worked in computers, and this would fill 2 football stadiums. The amount of information
Wow, yeah,
that
that's
when he worked in
amazing.
computer, when you were working in Chicago, that mainframe computer. How big was that mainframe computer?
Almost a room,
Yeah,
maybe big as this room we're in
yeah,
right now.
yeah.
And we used to mount tapes.
You used to mount what?
Tapes. That's
Okay.
that's how the data was
Are
on
you
it.
like the film almost like the? Oh, are you serious?
It
Wow.
was really something. And
Wow.
they used to have to have the air on because it had to be cold
Mm-hmm.
for these machines to work. And then they print up so much. The engineers, they would have to have all of this data that they had to have
Yeah.
to make, to design the nuclear plants. That's
Yeah.
what they were doing back then, designing the nuclear plants.
Wow.
And so I was working there as a computer operator.
Wow.
And learn, and my desire for computers just continued to expand.
Yeah.
And desire, I still love them today. You know that
Yeah.
we could just, I could lay in the bed and just do all types of things on your phone. You
Yeah.
don't have to sit up at a computer desk.
Yeah.
You know, to work. You could work right there
Yeah.
in your bed on your
Yeah.
phone right
Yeah.
now. You know.
I never, you opened my mind to something new. I guess I never really thought of technology and the arts colliding.
Oh
But you're right.
yes.
Like who drew this up?
Mhm.
Who came up with this concept for the camera to be here, for it to be square like this, for it to have these rounded edges?
Yes.
It is a art concept that
Mhm.
comes to life.
And the color.
Yeah,
You
the
know, just think
colors.
about all
Yeah,
the arts.
yeah.
You know, if you wouldn't like it if it was just black and white. You
Yeah,
know, the
yeah,
beauty of it all,
yeah,
the graphics,
yeah.
you know, it comes alive. You could, in fact, you could carry it everywhere you go. You could watch TV.
Yeah.
You could. I just went to Dubai, and that was such an experience. And so each one of us, as we're sitting in the airplane, we had our own private computer screen
Okay.
where you could just whatever you desired to do, you could do. Watch your movies, or if you wanted to listen to the news, or if you wanted to visit some other countries as you were there, whatever you desired to do, learn more about Dubai, or you know, you could just. Everybody had that with the headphones.
Yeah, I got you.
With the headphones, everybody had that right there. So you could just do whatever you wanted to do. The high tech was just wonderful. I loved every moment. Just on the plane, it was a 13-hour ride.
Wow.
But and we slept through a lot of it.
Yeah.
But and they fed you all through the night. So
Oh,
that
really?
was fun. And I would say Dubai has left the United States behind.
Yeah.
That technology is at such
heard.
a level.
Yeah.
It's the tallest building.
Yeah, 140 some stories.
Mhm.
Look, I've been on an 80-story building. I don't want to be on a 140-story building. The highest I've been, well, I've been in the Sears Tower, but building it open air, I don't want to be on an open air 140-story building. I was on an open air 80-story building where I was on the edge looking down.
Really? No,
Yeah, that's the
haven't been
highest
like
I've
that.
been, open air.
Oh, okay. I
But
haven't
yeah,
been open air.
yeah. But I mean, just 140 stories, even if you closed in.
I'm telling you, you're right. Because
Yeah.
just for us to look at it,
Yeah.
you know, closed in, that was something. And
Yeah.
it's so beautiful.
That's
you know, and
amazing. That's
technology,
amazing.
they showed you the different stages that they had to deal, actually build that building
Yeah.
so that it would be there. And so Dubai has only developed over I think they said the last 15 years
Yeah.
that you will see. And so when you're just driving down the expressway in your cars, it's like you're looking at a movie.
Really?
The billboards are just so colorful.
Really?
And as you're driving on each side, you're just looking like at a movie. And the buildings are so beautiful.
I bet. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful.
Bollywood is coming up, and I don't know if they're the epicenter for Bollywood. Have you ever seen a Bollywood movie, like how colorful it is and how you got to check it out? Because if you like take Bollywood is like, it's a play off of Hollywood, but it's like the Indian. It's like Indian their cultural movies. But like I walked into a vape store and they were watching one, and I was like, what is that? Because the colors and it's the sights. I was like, this kills any Steven Spielberg movie, like what I'm watching right here. Who is like, once we get a hold of that, we don't really get shown that as much.
No,
you know what I mean? But yeah, because you love technology and you don't really know too much about it. You got to check out a Bollywood movie. You would love it. You would love it. Let's move into Dr. Darlene Henderson. You have a doctorate in theology. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
So you told me you've been ministering for most of your life.
Well, my adult life, I started off really knowing that I was called into the ministry at Logan Park Church. That's where my journey of my spiritual life got enhanced.
Okay.
And that's when I was asking the Lord, what was my calling?
Yeah.
What was my purpose in life? And so I have a healing ministry. That's what I have. But I always knew that I love the word. In fact, we would just study. My girlfriend Pat Bell, when I first got saved, we would just go buy all these books and study every Saturday. We have the tables would be stacked, and we would just study in the Word. We were hungry for it. I talk about it in my book Dibble, actually.
Okay.
So the doctorate that happened too, as I was just on my way doing some things. Dr. Carlton, and he actually had classes in the school at IUN.
Okay.
That's where he.
Okay.
And so, but it's funny how God will just have you. Well, in fact, we know our lives are already written in books in heaven. People might not know that your whole life is already written down before you actually were formed in your mother's womb.
Yeah. Yeah.
So your life is already prepared. God has already prepared our lives.
Yeah.
And then we just have to walk it out,
Yeah.
live it out.
Yeah.
And you can only do that through Christ, you know. So
she preaching, y'all. Come
and I
on.
think and the best degree that I have is my doctorate in theology.
Yeah.
It's the best. The Lord said that's the best.
Yeah.
You know?
How different is it to like to be, you have your spiritual side, but actually to get the information, like you now studying it. You know, it's a difference between like being, you have to be spiritual, but then to like sit down and study it. Did you ever find any of it? It was schoolwork. Did you ever find any of it
Oh
to be just
yes.
tedious?
Oh
And
yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Oh, for sure. Sure. You know, when you're doing your theses and the doctorate and all of
yeah,
that, a lot of work. A
yeah,
lot of work. Sometimes you have that discipline. You have to have that discipline
yeah,
to want to complete. You know, because a lot of people start things in life, but they don't complete them.
yeah.
You know, so to complete, you
Mm-hmm.
know what your destiny is. We all have a destiny in life, and so ordained by God from heaven. And so if you spend that time with God, He will open up to you your life and how He desires to have preeminence in our lives. And so, you know, there are ups and downs, tests and trials that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Those fiery tests and trials, they come to make you strong.
Yeah,
They want you to become better, even
yeah,
though some people become bitter.
yeah,
Bitter.
yeah,
I could have got that way with Hyatt taking so long
yeah.
to open, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
I was very discouraged.
Yeah,
I cried about an ocean of tears
yeah.
through the process
I
too.
bet. I could only imagine. I mean, when I don't get my way with this, I mean, the computer was acting up, and I'm I'm ready. I'm ready. But you talking about a 7-year journey? Like that's you. Were you doing your doctorate at the time of that Hyatt, or you already had your doctorate at the time that Hyatt was
I think I already had the
you
doctorate.
already had. So you just
I
like
think
hard stuff,
so.
huh?
I
You just
think.
love.
No, the
You
door.
are.
Believe it or not, no, I know. But I had a hard life. It
Yeah,
started off pretty tough
yeah,
as a little bitty girl,
yeah,
but you know, God has our lives so planned out,
yeah.
and so and I did have to ask God. In fact, I told the Lord I thought He made a mistake. Uh, you know, the way that I came up, you know,
Yeah,
because I had a lot of tests and trials.
yeah.
I said, God, I think you put me in the wrong family, in the wrong house. I think you made a mistake, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
But God doesn't make any mistakes. He's
yeah,
the all powerful, all wise God
yeah,
who knows all. He knows our beginning from the end.
yeah,
And I used, you know, sometimes you have to put on those big girl panties and
yeah,
you boys,
yeah.
the
Big boys underwear
big boy,
boxes. Yeah, right.
and walk it out, you
Hmm.
know, and you might sometimes we might have temper tantrums
Hmm.
and cry. You know, I know I've had some, and God is not in pity parties. I
Yeah.
tell you, I've had some
Mm-mm.
pity parties,
Mm-mm.
and God does not like us having pity
Mm-mm.
parties. Because He knows what He's doing in our lives. We
Yeah.
have to trust Him to know that He knows, and just don't ever give up. You know, the doctorate was there to, I think, to help me with Hyatt, the
Okay. Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
And then, and the funny thing about in my life journey, even as a teacher, I actually bought two book plans to write a book one day.
Really.
I knew I would write a book one day. I didn't
Yeah.
know when, and
Yeah.
so I actually bought two plans accidentally. One was with Zulon and Zillibris.
Okay.
They both were excellent. I didn't even know it until I was getting ready to write the books, and I was calling one, and they said, "That's not us. That's Zillibris." So then I found out I have two plans already paid for. I
Really.
paid for in advance just to
Really.
show you how God is.
Really.
And the theology, I love. Just ordained at my church
Really. Oh,
um,
congratulations. Yeah.
as an elder. My husband and I under Apostle James and Prophetess Sharon Randolph.
Okay.
That was last week.
Oh.
Beautiful. I
Yeah.
love being in the ministry
Yeah.
there, and I have uh, my own ministry that I have JICBS, which
Okay.
stands for Jesus is Coming Back Soon.
Hey. Okay.
A ministry that I've been doing for quite a while.
Okay.
It's I think been around like 7 or 8 years now.
Yeah.
So and I just know God wants the word to get out there, and I'm over the evangelism at Acom, believing God for miracle signs and wonders, and seeking God for this direction and for what He wants for such a time as this. You know, revival is needed in the earth, revival. We all need to be revived,
Man.
so that we can get ready for
Man,
when the Lord comes back,
yeah,
because He's coming back
yeah,
soon. Jesus
yeah.
is coming
Pray for
back
me because I'm
soon.
just going through a period in life, and so at times in this period in life, I ain't acting right. I ain't gonna lie, but I still treat human beings with decency and respect.
Well,
It's
that's
just,
nice.
yeah, but
But you
but
said, yeah, but
uh,
yeah, treat people good,
yeah, yeah. You
like you
talked
want to
to
be treated.
exactly, and that's what I believe the golden rule. You talked about your early life. Do you want to talk about that? Do you want to talk about
Well,
your?
yes. Well, my dad, was kind of wounded. His mother died when he was a little boy, so he was kind of wounded, and I can't tell you why it really actually happened that way, but actually, and I think it was just from the enemy. He was, I was almost. He tried to kill me a couple of times.
Wow, a couple of times.
Yes, and
Wow.
and my mother said, "Well, just pray that he likes you one day. He'll like you one day." So I did. I had to pray that prayer.
Oh my
And so,
God.
but before, the beautiful part about it all is before he passed, I would spend time with him every day. I was getting ready to have my daughter Darlene. He said, "Darling, have boys; they're more fun." I got to spend a lot of time with him, and God was healing me before he was going to take him home. And he actually gave his heart to the Lord with me that day. People went from doors to doors. Talking about Jesus, they asked him. They said, "If you left today, do you know if you would go to heaven?" And he said, "No, I don't know." So they prayed with him, the sinner's man's prayer. And so I'm just excited, even through that journey of that and going through that rough time. And my mother being an evangelist herself and a deaconess, teaching me how to pray very early. She sent me to God very early and said, "Pray that He'll like you one day, darling." So I did, so I started off with a relationship with God very, very early. And, God was just teaching me a lot. And it wasn't easy. Sometimes it seemed like God was just far, far, far away. But He was always there, and so watching and teaching and showing me different things. So, better is the ending of a thing than the beginning. So I know that I look forward to seeing him in heaven with my mother one day.
You got me. I'm an emotional person, and you almost have me choked up over here.
Yeah,
I
I'm
ain't gonna
kind of
let
getting
no.
choked
Yeah,
up too.
I ain't let
Look,
no.
that's why I said first I wasn't gonna talk about it, because I said
but
sometimes you could, you go back and you talk about things, and
yeah,
then you could still feel the emotions,
yeah.
of it.
You are an extraordinary person. I'm about to tell you why, and you probably don't even notice that you did it. And it's something that I keyed in with people that I like to be around now. I've met some pretty terrible people that have
You
affected my
have, huh?
life. Yeah, I have, and I'm sure we all have. But it seems like God is thankfully ridding me of people that are just somewhat terrible as people, and God help them.
Somewhat terrible.
I just can't find myself around them. What I key in on is what you just did. You probably don't even notice that you did it, and you did it with grace, and you did it uh with conviction. But you just talked about somebody that tried to kill you, but you started out by saying, you know, it was my dad and he went through this time in life. You basically, that's such a graceful statement, because you are talking about somebody, and then you said a couple of times somebody that tried to take your life a couple of
Yeah,
times,
that's
but
something.
you were covering him with grace in the
Wow,
midst of
that's
you
something.
started it out with that. And I
See now,
key in on that because
see,
that makes me want to be
see,
around
you
those
gonna
people.
bring tears in my eyes
You
now. See, I don't like
and
to
now I'm
cry,
about to
and
start.
you got me on live now.
Yeah,
But
no,
I learned that wounded people wound other people.
mm,
So he was wounded, and he used to even sometimes be as he was sleeping, crying out for his mother. So and let me show you how awesome that is, because I would go out ministering to the homeless, the people living on the streets. And so I met a man out there one time, and I said, "Why are you out here living out here like this?" And he said, he said, "My mother died when I was a little boy." And God said, "That's your father." He helped me to see that was my father. So my father was able to work and take care of us and do all of that in spite of that pain. Just think, his mother died in childbirth. And so just one day his mother was there, and the next, never returned.
yeah,
So, they didn't have help like they do today.
yeah.
You know.
I gotta say, man, uh, especially at this time in my life, I don't think people realize the grace. Like I don't think people know what grace is. As human beings, I don't think we understand the depths of God's grace.
You're right.
To love you so much. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
To love
We
you
doing it
so,
together.
yeah.
God
To
does love
love you
us.
so much to
Mhm.
actually care about knowing that you have feelings against somebody that are pretty much can be valid feelings. Like
Yeah,
I think it would be okay to say I don't hate him, but I dislike him.
yeah, yeah.
But in order,
That's so
people
true.
don't,
So true.
God will give you commandments to do things, but we don't
Mhm.
always understand that when he gives these
Mhm.
commandments, he don't just say go out and do this and just leave you hanging. He sent you out, and you were able to meet somebody and correlate it back in your mind
Mhm.
to your father in order to actually have grace on him, the
Mhm.
God given grace that you can say, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that he wasn't a
Mhm.
horrible human being. Like,
Mm-mm.
that maybe he
Right.
wasn't as bad as I thought.
Thought he was.
But for
Mhm.
you to be able to, that's God's grace for you to be able to
Boy.
say, he tried to kill me a couple times, but I see him in heaven. Look, people, look, somebody tried to kill me a couple times. Lord, you're gonna have to help me because I ain't gonna see you.
Yeah.
You going to hell. But like this, that's what folks, because that's
That's
in
so
our
true.
human and our fleshly
Yes.
heart. That's what we
Yeah.
want to have. We want bad things to happen to people
But
that
yeah,
do
when they
bad
hurt
things
you,
to us.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
I didn't have a good understanding about it. Look, it took years for me to get a good understanding,
Yeah.
even though, and God didn't ever let me hate them.
Yeah.
And I give God that credit because
Yeah.
I could have, I really could have, disliked them,
Mm.
and but God always kept, I guess, a tenderness in my heart for
Yeah.
him,
Yeah.
and because he was funny, he
Yeah.
used to tap dance, and
Mm.
he was an artist. My
Yeah.
daddy could draw
Really.
beautiful, and he actually uh, he would build houses and things like that. He actually lifted up our house to put a basement up under it. I'm trying to make it a home now for a group home
Hmm.
for people with special needs.
Wow.
I'm always everywhere thinking about different things I want to
Yeah.
do. Keep the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
It needs a lot of help right now,
Yeah.
renovation. Benika, I'm hoping she'll help me with that
And if we know
capacity.
some people, man, that see this, man, you better put your talent to good use and tap in on some of these blessings and help her fix this house. We got
Yes,
talents.
yes,
We got
yes.
talents and
Help me,
abilities.
help me.
Yeah, we got talents and abilities out here, G. Y'all better get in and tap in with this. If you got a talent or ability, you better tap in and help her fix this house because I tell you
Yes,
what, man, nothing beats blessings from God. Like,
I know
like
that's
nothing
right.
beats. No,
To God we pray.
we talked about trials. You have to go through trials.
Mhm.
But man, you ever got a blessing that you know you ain't deserve?
Yes.
Not to say we
The
deserve
mercy,
any, but
like you said, grace and mercy.
yeah, yeah.
Blessed are the merciful. That's one of my good ones, for they shall receive mercy. So I try to
Yeah.
have mercy.
Man, me too.
So when I need
Me
some
too.
mercy,
Me too.
I can get my dose
That's
of
that petty mercy.
it.
You be treating people right that you know don't
Yeah,
deserve to be treated right because you're like,
yeah.
God, I need some mercy. Let me go ahead and treat these horrible people
I'm
and give
telling
some
you,
grace to these
look,
people.
I needed mercy just yesterday. I was
Yeah.
in my car, and I was taking my girlfriend home, and my car was this. It's a new car, an Infinity, but it was having problems. Ploop, 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 ploop. And I'm trying to figure out why this new car is acting like this.
Right.
As I'm trying to
Right.
take her home.
Yeah.
So by the time I take her home and drop her off, I get to the corner and the intersection at the intersection there. The car just stops, locks,
What?
and I'm at a diagonal place, and it's dark, and I'm all by myself, and I'm like, oh God. I said, and I started, these men started to get out. One was on the bike,
Mm.
and this other one was in the car, and so they were trying to help me. And so they said, "Do you need help?" And I was so not scared, I was scared. Okay, as they say today,
Right.
and I was
Right.
like, no,
Yeah.
yes, look, I need help. They
Oh,
said,
please don't rob me.
I know. I was very afraid. Look, I was very afraid.
Right.
And then they said, well, we just want to move your car out the middle of the street because it was dark and you couldn't
Yeah.
even see it.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, thank you, thank you.
Mm.
And so I was still trying to start it up. Still, it wasn't starting up. Took a long time as I was sitting there. And they was like, well, try to put it in reverse. Try to put it in neutral so we could push you over. And I mean, it took a good little while. And so finally, I was able to start it up and back the car up.
Mm.
I said, thank you, Jesus.
Mm.
And when I said, thank you, Jesus, they said, thank you, Jesus. Both of them, Thank you, Jesus. I said, oh, y'all my angels.
Right,
I said, you
right,
all are my angels.
right.
And they were so nice. God
Y'all the
bless
ones
y'all
that
if y'all
push the
out there.
car, right? God
They
bless
were,
you.
they helped
Man,
me.
and that's the type, that's
I
that
was
mercy
scared.
that you, yeah, that's
Mercy.
that, because
Because it could have been, it could have been worse. It didn't
yeah,
have to end like
yeah.
that.
You know, people don't realize they see people that's doing good in life and they act like sometimes people ain't got problems. Like, yo, she pushing an infinity, y'all, and then locked up on her
Locked up,
like,
shut down,
right,
right in the wrong place.
right.
It's dark,
Oh,
nighttime,
right,
a deserted street. Look,
right. I'm gonna have to buy this book since I keep dropping it.
it's trying to talk to you.
Right, you ain't lying because I read the back of it. I was like, I need to get this.
Devil.
Let's talk about it. Since it keep falling, we talked about your
Yeah.
theology. We went back to your early story. Let's jump back forward to Dibble. When did you write this?
2000, right, the pandemic. I think
Oh God,
2020.
this got to be great.
You're right, the pandemic. In fact, I had to have my book signing on Facebook
Are you?
Live.
Oh no, a
That's
virtual book signing.
virtual book
Oh
signing. Yes,
no,
I did. It was fun.
no.
The boy, life would show you some things, won't it? And
Yeah.
so the Lord actually woke me up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Finish this book. Finish. Sometimes I would be flying, and God would give me little nuggets for it. And the title is called Dibble.
Okay. Yeah, Dibble.
Do it blissfully before leaving Earth. It's an acronym. I
Oh
like
wow.
acronyms like Hyatt.
Wow.
And so,
I'm trying to show these comments. People have been commenting.
oh
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Okay,
My cousin tapped in, Bonique tapped in, Mr. Henderson tapped in. So yeah, he
okay,
said great book and good and interesting read. Yeah.
okay.
So what does it stand for again? Do it.
Do it blissfully before leaving Earth.
Wow.
7 steps to ensure that you make heaven your home. You
Look
make
at
a
that.
reservation for your final destination. It's the roadmap for eternal life. My daughter Jasmine designed the book cover for me
Really? That's
there.
wow.
And
Wow.
so,
And that's what happens when you got a talented family. You keep it in house, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
That's where can they find this at?
it's on Amazon right
Okay.
now. Walmart. It's
You in Walmart?
Barnes and Noble.
What?
Yeah, I'm on
Let me get
Walmart
$1.
too. Barnes and
That's great,
Noble.
right? Wow,
It's on
wow.
a lot of different sites. In fact, I actually it's out of the country too. It's in some of the other places where they don't speak English.
Really,
So
really.
it's available out there, and Amazon is right now wants me to invest in it being a #1 bestseller. But I really believe, and I want Oprah to choose this book. Look, I want
Look,
Oprah to choose. I want it to
look,
be Oprah's pick
look.
and be on Oprah's show
I
one day.
have
That's my dream.
you,
I
and
have
it's
a
gonna
dream.
happen. I have a friend. A lot has happened in life, but just this story is just a great story. She was running. She was running against uh in Indiana on the Democratic ticket in Indiana, a Democrat running
Oh,
against what was our vice president's name under Trump? Pence. She was
Pence.
running against his brother, black female in southern Indiana.
Oh, really?
Yeah, black
Okay.
female in southern
In
Indiana running
Southern
on a
Indiana,
Democratic ticket
a Democratic ticket.
against the vice
Wow.
president's brother.
The vice
She didn't
president.
have a dying chance of winning.
No, she didn't.
No,
No, the
but when she
odds.
yeah, she did say she said she lived in Muncie, and
Oh,
I
okay.
know them because I went to school in Muncie with into
Oh,
a school that was sponsored by Ball State. I went to the
I
Indiana
remember
Academy.
Benika
Yeah,
telling me about
and
that.
so she said, "Man, I really need some star power. I need somebody to help push this." And she prayed to God that she would meet David Letterman. And she walks into a coffee house, and lo and behold, who's walking out but David
David Letterman.
Letterman?
Oh,
And
wow.
on top of
Wow.
that, so she, of course, since this came to life, she had to talk to him. So she
Yeah.
walked up to him and she said, "Hey, I'm running against the vice president's brother, Greg Pence, and she said, I would just love if you supported my campaign." He said, "I want you to beat that SOB." So he was a classic
Wow.
David Letterman.
Uh-huh.
But so he pulls out a wad of money out of his pocket and tries to give it to her. She's like, "I cannot take that."
Oh,
Money has to go through proper channels. So
yeah.
what he did was he actually went to their house. David Letterman threw a fundraising event at their home in Muncie.
Oh,
David
my
Letterman. So
goodness.
what I'm telling
Really?
you is when you meet Oprah, I just want to be there.
I believe. Okay, it's going to happen soon too.
I just want to show up. Just invite me and be like,
I
well,
will.
I manifested it. So
I will. I sent her my book already.
You
too.
did?
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's
I
going.
sent it to her
Yeah.
some time ago, and I believe because I actually had a vision that I actually met her, and she asked me, "And what is it, Darlene, that you have need of?" This is what she asked me, and I didn't know what to say. This was way back then.
Oprah said this
in my vision. That's
really?
why I had a vision, and the Lord said, "Well, you need to know what to say," you know. And so I didn't know, but I have a lot of things to say today.
Right.
That are things I want to do for the kingdom.
Yeah.
Things I like to do for people.
I got something to tell you. This is my gift, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because when I told you, you said, "How long is this gonna be?" And I said, "It's gonna be." I said, "You don't have to worry." I said, "I'll bring it out," and you said, "Okay," because I'd be tired. You have talked and talked and talked. We coming on an hour right now.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I told you.
Oh, see,
I told you.
I
told you I'll bring it out of people, but we
do.
don't have to. We don't have to stop. I want you to tell us. You told us a little bit about Dibble. You told us what where we could get it from.
Yes.
What else? You have a study guide?
Yes, and I have a study guide. My daughter, Darnisha Morris, she actually is the one who helped to make this happen. She said she almost had a heart attack.
Oh.
Really? Because I was telling her that everything has to be in excellence and perfection, and we were just having a lot of technical problems.
Yeah.
But she actually, Darnisha, did design this cover. So I'm so thankful for my daughters being so gifted in graphics and all of that.
Man,
and this is the study guide that we released actually last year, but it's on Amazon too.
Really?
You can find this. It goes with Dibble, my book.
Is that in Walmart too?
This one is on Amazon, but I believe it will be.
Yeah, it will be.
By faith.
Will be. Yeah, by faith. Well, they got this one there, so why not have that one?
And let me tell you how I wanted my book to be in Walmart. And so one night I was sleeping, the Lord would say, Go see what Dibble is doing, Darlene. Go check it out. And that's how I found out it was in Walmart. I Googled it, and then I was walking. No, I didn't even know. And I was in the store. I told my girlfriend Gloria, I said, "Girl, I said I'm in Walmart." I said my book is at Walmart online. I said God is so good, so faithful. Because I said, Lord, I want my book, and I speak to Dibble. I said, I want you to be in all these places that books, online, everywhere, in the stores. God can make anything happen if we only believe. Man. That's what I say here. He said, if you only believe, and even though it might take a long, long time, it might not happen in the time that we want things to happen. But it's perfect timing with God. Yeah. And I like that. Man, that's a perfect place to end. All right. That's a perfect place to end. Man, V and O. We are ordinary people with extraordinary stories. This is a replay right here. I'm playing this all over again. I'm going to watch this myself so I can cry again. I know. Like this, both of us. Right? We sit here boo-hooing. We need some tissue. You better get a box of tissue next time, boy. Right. Man, this has been amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so, man, shout out again, man. Shout out to Heritage. Before we go, I do want to ask. The school is Higher Institute of Arts and Technology. Okay. But you're talking about Heritage Real Estate, Benica. Yeah, Heritage. Yeah, because what I wanted to ask you was, I saw in your bio that you also, is Heritage a thing amongst your family? Yeah, we love that. Yes, because we have Heritage homes. Man, yeah. And the school was Heritage before it became Higher. So yes, we love Heritage. In fact, Benica said that she decided to make her business Heritage. Yeah, because the school was Heritage. Right. When you said you were CEO of Heritage, I was like, Benica been lying all this time. That's Benica's Heritage, because we got so many Heritage. Because I had Heritage Institute too. Yeah, okay. We love that. Man, that's a powerful word when you and Mr. Booker. I mean, you and Mr. Henderson have created a heritage. Oh, with your, I mean, with your kids and then your grandkids. Like, I'm amazed to see, like, 17, man, I remember them when they was born. Yeah, man, somebody getting old. I'm not, but and they 17 now. The twins are 17. Wow. Darian's 28. I can't imagine that time went by. Yes, they're playing. Wait a minute. Hold on one second. 28. 28. If I don't have it wrong, I hope I'm right. Darian is 28. I
Oh,
believe at that time is going by so
yes,
fast.
it
We
is.
don't like to talk about age too much,
No,
do we?
We yeah, for real, because it's like you don't. I don't feel old. You don't
I
seem
don't.
like you. Yeah, you don't feel you still doing it. You still got dreams talking about stuff. Yeah, and you gonna
Yes,
fulfill
a
them
lot
too.
of dreams.
But man, it's just time does, and like when you start hearing about like other people's lives, you're like, wait a minute, how you was just born
Yes,
28?
I remember you
Yeah,
very young.
yeah, which is
Young.
amazing, man. But thank you for opening out for me. I did have that question. Hey,
Thank you.
y'all, this is a straight replay, man. If you just started tuning in, please go back and watch this and grab a box of tissues because this has been amazing. I love this is why I do the VNO for these ordinary people with extraordinary stories. Stories like this will change somebody's life.
And I want to say, Benika, thank you so much because she encouraged me
Yeah.
to come and do this. She said, Mom, I want you to come and come over here to Heritage Real Estate. So thank you, Benika, too.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
thank you, Ron, so much for you're
Oh,
doing an
no
excellent
problem.
job here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. So thank you for just for sitting down with me. Thank you. I mean, I really
Oh,
appreciate this. I needed this. I
you
needed
did.
this.
And for
Yeah,
your
I needed
beautiful
this.
parents,
I
too.
needed this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. My mom
Ron and Deb.
on every thumbnail. My mom right now is she's going through chemo. She has
Yeah.
cancer.
I'm
First stage,
praying for
beginning
her.
stages. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
believe that she's gonna come out of it. But on
she
every
is. I have to connect with her.
yeah, she is. She is. Just pray for her. But she's doing. I mean, look, my mom encourages me. I'll be having down days. I'm like, you just had chemo today. You can't sit here and encourage me. I'm supposed to be
Wow.
encouraging you. But
That's
that's God
Deborah.
for you.
Yes,
That's
that's
God
her.
for you.
That is God for
Yeah,
you.
and I thank God for my parents. Rest in peace to my dad, biological dad that I bear his name. But I have
Oh,
two
okay.
amazing parents still alive that are just great people, and I
That's
really love them.
beautiful.
Thank you for highlighting them. Y'all, we over
Thank
hour
you.
now.
All right, we over
Thank you.
hour.
You all good.
Thank you.
You all good. Thank you so much once
Okay.
again. Y'all, thank y'all for tuning in, man. And like I said, this is a straight replay right here, man. Y'all go back and watch it over again. Thank you everybody in the chat for joining us. Shout out again to Heritage Real Estate at that 7 o'clock hour, man. Y'all tune in to Facebook Shop Talk 7 podcast, man. They gonna be doing it here soon. Hey y'all, thanks again.
But have you ever thought, what if this is all just a dream? And we're just waiting in line to wake up? And most people think I'm insane. Once you realize that all the shit you used to care so much about just keeps you a prisoner of your own mind.